Dr. Minho walked down the long white hallway of Research Station. Gamasovin. His footsteps echoed off the metal walls as he made his way to the containment level. In his hand was a data pad showing the morning reports from his team. This week, all from the same source. He stopped at the heavy security door and pressed his palm against the scanner. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the containment area was filled with rows of transparent cells. Each one held a different alien specimen that his team had collected from across the galaxy. Most of the creatures were small and harmless. Some looked like colorful birds, others resembled large insects or strange plants. But at the far end of the room sat the problem case, cell for 7. Dr. Minho approached slowly, keeping his distance from the reinforced walls. Inside the cell paced a creature unlike anything he had ever seen. She stood almost 7 feet tall on powerful legs. Her body was covered in thick silver fur that seemed to shimmer under the bright lights. Her hands ended in sharp claws that could cut through metal, but it was her eyes that made everyone nervous. They were bright amber, like molten gold. They followed every movement outside her cell with the focus of a predator. When she looked at you, it felt like she was deciding exactly how to kill you. The creature stopped pacing and stared directly at Dr. Minho. Her lips pulled back to show rows of sharp white teeth. A low growl rumbled from her throat, growing louder as he stepped closer. Still as friendly as ever, I see, Dr. Minho said to himself. Behind him, he heard footsteps. Dr. Yuna entered the containment area, her left arm wrapped in fresh bandages. She had been the most recent victim of the creature's aggression. The morning feeding, Dr. Yuna said, holding up a container of nutritional paste. Though I doubt she'll be any more cooperative today. Dr. Minho nodded toward her injured arm. How is it healing? The cuts were deep, but clean. She could have done much worse if she wanted to. Dr. Yuna moved toward the cell's feeding slot. Sometimes I think she holds back, like she knows exactly how much damage to do. The creature in the cell watched Dr. Yuna approach. Her growling grew louder, and she began to pace again. Back and forth like a caged animal, which Dr. Minho supposed was exactly what she was. Is any progress on determining her species? Dr. Minho asked. Dr. Yuna shook her head. Nothing in our databases matches her physiology. The closest comparison would be the wolf-like predators from Kepler 4-4b. But they are much smaller and show no signs of intelligence. Intelligence? Dr. Minho raised an eyebrow. You think she is intelligent? Look at her cell, Dr. Yuna pointed. She has never damaged the walls randomly. Every scratch, every mark is purposeful. She tested the strength of every surface within the first day, knows exactly where the cameras are and positions herself to avoid them when possible. Hey, Doctor? Minho studied the cell more carefully. Dr. Yuna was right. The scratches on the walls formed patterns. They were not the random marks of a wild animal, but deliberate testing of weak points. Even if she shows problem-solving abilities, that does not make her truly intelligent, Dr. Minho said. Many animals can learn and adapt. The creature suddenly stopped pacing. She turned to face them directly, her amber eyes narrowing. For a moment, Dr. Minho could have sworn she understood their conversation. Dr. Yuna carefully opened the feeding slot and pushed the container inside. The creature did not move toward the food. Instead, she continued to stare at them with those unsettling eyes. She has not eaten in 2 days, Dr. Yuna said quietly. I am beginning to worry that she might be trying to starve herself. Before Dr. Minho could respond, the door to the containment area opened again. Jaewon, one of the maintenance engineers, entered carrying a toolbox. He was a quiet man who rarely spoke unless asked a direct question. Excuse me, doctors, Jaewon said politely. I need to check the environmental controls near the back cells. Double quotes. Dr. Minho waved him through.
Oh.
Try not to get too close to 47. She's already sent 3 people to medical this week. Jaewon nodded and walked toward the back of the room. Past the creature's cell, something strange happened. The creature turned to watch him, but her aggressive posture relaxed slightly. She did not bare her teeth or pace frantically like she did with everyone else. Interesting, Dr. Yuna whispered. She seems calmer around him. Dr. Minho watched as Jaewon set up his equipment near the creature's cell. The alien remained alert but did not show the same hostile behavior. She sat down in the center of her cell, still watching, but no longer appearing ready to attack. "Has he worked near her cell before?" Dr. Minho asked. "Several times," Dr. Yuna replied. "Now that you mention it, we have never had any incidents." When he is present, Juan worked quietly, checking sensors and adjusting settings on the environmental controls. The creature watched his every move, but she seemed more curious than threatening. When he accidentally dropped a small tool, she actually moved closer to the wall, as if trying to see what had happened. "J1," Dr. Minho called softly. "Av, you noticed anything unusual about the creature's behavior?" J1 looked up from his work. "She seems sad," he said simply. "Sad?" Dr. Yuna looked surprised. "She is a dangerous predator. I doubt she experiences emotions like sadness." "Maybe," J1 said, returning to his work. "But sometimes when I'm working late, I hear her making sounds, not angry sounds. Soft sounds, like she is calling for someone." Dr. Minho frowned. "What kind of sounds? Hard to describe. It's almost like words, but not in any language I know." J1 packed up his tools. Could just be my imagination. As J1 prepared to leave, the creature stood up and moved to the wall closest to him. She pressed her hand against the transparent barrier, her claws spread wide. But it was not a threatening gesture. It looked almost like she was trying to reach out to him. Jawan paused and looked at her carefully. For a moment, man and alien stared at each other through the barrier. Then Jawan did something that made both doctors gasp. He raised his own hand and placed it against the wall, matching the position of her claws. The creature's amber eyes widened. She tilted her head to one side, studying him with obvious intelligence. Then she made a sound that was definitely not a growl. It was softer, more complex, almost like a word. "Did you hear that?" Dr. Yuna whispered, before anyone could respond. The creature pulled her hand away and retreated to the far corner of her cell. But she continued to watch Jawan with those bright amber eyes until he left. The room, Dr. Minho stood in silence for several minutes after Jawan had gone. The creature had returned to her pacing, but something had changed, moved differently now, less frantically. And every few seconds, she would glance toward the door where Jawan had exited.
"Dr. Yuna," Dr. Minho said slowly, "I want you to review all the recordings from her cell. Look for any patterns in her vocalizations, and find out everything you've..."
"Can about her capture? You think Jawan might be right about her intelligence?" Dr. Minho watched the creature pace back and forth in her cell. "I think we may have been approaching this all wrong. What if she is not just an animal? Is something more?" 3 days had passed since Dr. Minho ordered the review of all recordings from Cell 47. Jawan found himself working late again, checking the power systems throughout the station. The night shift was quiet, with most of the research team asleep. In their quarters, he made his way to the containment level with his equipment bag slung over his shoulder. The corridor lights had dimmed to their nighttime setting, casting long shadows on the walls. As he approached the security door, he could hear something unusual from inside. The door slid open, and Jawan stepped into the containment area. Most of the cells were quiet, their occupants resting. But from the far end of the room came a soft sound that made him pause. It was not the angry growling he had heard before. This was different. Jawan set down his bag and listened carefully. The sound was coming from cell 47. He could hear the creature moving around, but she was not pacing like usual. Instead, she seemed to be sitting in one spot, making quiet vocalizations. He picked up his tools and walked slowly toward her cell. As he got closer, the sounds became clearer. They were not random noises. There was a pattern to them, a rhythm. That reminded him of speech. The creature was sitting in the center of her cell, her back to him. Her silver fur looked almost white in the dim lighting. She was making soft sounds, almost like she was talking to herself. But as Jawan listened, he began to hear the same sound repeated over and over. "Nari," she seemed to be saying, "Nari." Jawan stopped walking and stood perfectly still. The creature had not noticed him yet. She continued making the same sound, sometimes softly, sometimes with more emotion. It definitely sounded like a word. "Nari," she said again, and this time her voice carried a sadness that made Jaewon's chest tighten. He took a step closer, and a small piece of metal fell from his tool bag. The sound echoed through the quiet room. The creature immediately went silent and turned around. Her amber eyes met his in the dim light. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then she tilted her head to one side, studying him with obvious recognition. She remembered him from their previous encounters. "Hello," Jaewon said softly. The creature's ears perked up at the sound of his voice. She stood up slowly and walked to the wall closest to him, but she did not show any signs of aggression. Instead, she placed her hand against the transparent barrier, just like she had done before. "Nari," she said, looking directly at him. Jaewon's heart began to beat faster. "Nari," he repeated carefully. The creature's eyes widened. She pressed both hands against the wall and leaned forward. "Nari," she said again more clearly. This time, then she pointed to herself. "That's your name," Jaewon whispered. "Nari." The creature Nari nodded her head. She nodded. The simple human gesture looked strange coming from her alien features, but the meaning was clear. She understood what he was saying. "My name is Jaewon," he said, pointing to himself. Nari tried to repeat the sound, but her throat seemed built differently. "Jaewon," she managed. The pronunciation slightly off, but recognizable. Jaewon smiled. "Close enough." For the next few minutes, they stood facing each other through the barrier. Nari seemed eager to communicate, making various sounds and gestures. Some of them Jaewon could understand. Others were completely foreign. But it was clear that she was trying to talk to him. "You're not just an animal, are you?" Jaewon said quietly. Nari shook her head firmly. Then she made a series of sounds that were definitely words in some language. She pointed to herself, then to the empty space around her, then made a gesture that looked like flying or traveling. "You're from somewhere else," Jaewon said. "Somewhere far away." Nari nodded again. "Duh." She pointed upward, toward the ceiling, then made the flying gesture again. Her expression grew sad, and she made a sound that was almost like a whimper. "Your home," Jaewon said. "You miss your home." Nari's amber eyes filled with what looked like tears. She pressed her forehead against the wall and made the soft sounds he had heard when he first entered. But now he understood. She was not just making noise. She was mourning. Behind him, the door to the containment area opened. Jaewon turned to see Dr. Sora, the station's linguist, entering with a cup of coffee in her hand. She often worked late, analyzing alien languages and communication patterns. "Jaewon," Dr. Sora looked surprised. "What are you doing here so late?" "Maintenance check," Jaewon said, then gestured toward Nara's cell. "But I think you should hear this." Dr. Sora approached cautiously. She had heard about the creature's aggressive behavior toward the research team. But as she got closer, she noticed that Nari was not showing any signs of hostility. "She told me her name," Jaewon said quietly. Nari, Dr. Sora's eyebrows rose. "She has a name?" Nari Jaewon called softly. The alien turned toward them. When she saw Dr. Sora, her posture became more guarded, but she did not growl or bare her teeth. Instead, she looked between the two humans with obvious intelligence. "Incredible," Dr. Sora whispered. "She's actually listening to us, Nari." Dr. Sora said carefully, "My name is Sora." Nari studied the new human for a moment. Then she attempted to say the name Sora. Dr. Sora nearly dropped her coffee cup. "She's learning our language right now, in real time." "Can you understand her language?" Jaewon asked. Dr. Sora listened as Nari made several sounds. Some were clearly attempts at human words, while others were in her own language.
"It's complex," Dr. Sora said. "The structure is unlike anything
in our databases. But she's definitely trying to communicate with us." Nari seemed to realize they were discussing her. She pointed to herself and said, "Nari." Then she pointed to Jaewon and said, "Jaewon." Finally, she pointed to Dr. Sora and said, "Sora." "She's teaching us," Dr. Sora said with amazement. "She's actually teaching us her language and learning ours." Nari made a series of sounds, then pointed toward the ceiling. She made the flying gesture again and said something that sounded like pack or pack. "Pack," Dr. Sora repeated thoughtfully. That could mean group or family. Nari nodded enthusiastically. She pointed to herself, then made the flying gesture, then said, pack. Her pack, Jaewon said. She's asking about her pack. Nair's expression grew sad again. She made several sounds that were clearly questions, based on her tone and body language. She kept pointing upward and making the flying gesture. She wants to know where they are, Dr. Sora said quietly. Her family or group. Hush. Jaewon felt a heavy weight in his stomach. He had read the reports about how Nari had been captured. Her pack had been killed in the fighting, but how could he tell her that? Nari seemed to understand their hesitation. Amber eyes grew dim, and she sank to the floor of her cell. She made a long, low sound that was clearly a cry of grief. She already knows, Dr. Sora whispered. She knows they're gone. For several minutes, the three of them stood in silence. Nari sat on the floor, her head in her hands, making soft sounds of mourning. Jaewon pressed his hand against the wall, wishing he could somehow comfort her. Dr. Sora, Jaewon said quietly, "This changes everything, doesn't it?" Dr. Sora nodded slowly. She's not a specimen. She's a person who has lost everything. Nari looked up at them through her tears. She pointed to herself and said, Nari. Then she pointed to them and said, friends? The word was perfectly clear, spoken in human language. Somehow, in the span of a few minutes, she had learned to ask the most important question of all. Jaewon looked at Dr. Sora, then back at Nari. Yes, he said firmly. Friends? Nari's expression brightened slightly. She stood up and placed both hands on the wall. Friends. She repeated, and for the first time since her capture, she smiled. But even as she smiled, Jaewon could see the sadness in her eyes. She was alone, far from home, with nothing left but the hope that these two humans might actually care about her as more than just a research subject. We need to tell Dr. Minho, Dr. Sora said. This changes everything about our research. Jaewon nodded, but he was already worried about what would happen next. The research team see Nari as a person, or would they just see her as a more interesting specimen to study? As if reading his thoughts, Nari spoke again. Help, she said clearly. Please help. The simple request, spoken in perfect human language, made both of them understand the enormous responsibility they now carried. Nari was not just asking for help, she was asking them to see her as she really was. Dr. Minho arrived at the containment area early the next morning. Carrying a steaming cup of coffee and a data pad full of reports, Dr. Sora had sent him an urgent message the night before. But her explanation had been too incredible to believe. A talking alien specimen was impossible. He found Dr. Sora and Jaewon waiting for him outside cell 47. Both looked tired, as if they had been awake all night. Dr. Sora held a recording device in her hands. This better be important, Dr. Minho said. Kana saw 3 meetings to be here. It is important, Dr. Sora said. More important than anything we have ever discovered. Dr. Minho looked through the transparent wall into the cell. The creature was sitting quietly in the center, watching them with her amber eyes. She looked calmer than he had ever seen her, but still alert and intelligent. Show me, Dr. Minho said. Dr. Sora approached the cell wall. Nari, she called softly. The creature stood up immediately and walked to the wall. Sora, she said clearly. Good morning. Dr. Minho nearly dropped his coffee. Did she just speak English? Yes, Dr. Sora said. She has been learning our language. Watch this. She turned back to Nari. Nari, this is Dr. Minho. He is our leader. Nari looked at Dr. Minho with obvious intelligence. Minho, she said carefully. Leader. Impossible, Dr. Minho whispered. How long has she been able to talk? We discovered it last night, Jaewon said. She has been trying to communicate all along. We just were not listening. Dr. Minho moved. Closer to the cell, Nari watched him approach, but she did not show any signs of aggression. Instead, she tilted her head to one side, studying him. Hello, Nari, Dr. Minho said slowly. Hello, Minho, Nari replied. We're afraid of me. The statement was so direct and unexpected that Dr. Minho took a step back. I am cautious, he said. You have injured several of my people. Nari's expression grew sad. I am sorry. I was afraid too. I thought you would hurt me. We are scientists, Dr. Minho said. We study life forms from across the galaxy. We mean no harm. Study, Nari repeated the word thoughtfully, like putting animals in cages to watch them. Dr. Minho felt uncomfortable with the comparison. We learn about different species to understand them better. But you did not try to understand me, Nari said. You put me in a cage and called me a specimen. The accusation hung in the air between them. Dr. Minho realized that from Nari's perspective, they had been treating her exactly like a captured animal. We did not know you were intelligent, Dr. Minho said weakly. You did not ask, Nari replied. You assumed? Dr. Sora stepped forward. Nari, can you tell us about your people, your species? Nari's eyes brightened at the question. We are called Veil 3. We live in the star system you call Kepler 442. We are warriors, but we are also teachers and builders. Warriors. We protect our territory and our pack, Nari said. But we do not attack others without reason. Then why were you fighting human forces? Dr. Minho asked. Nari's expression grew angry. Your ships came to our worlds. They took our people and our resources. We defended ourselves. Dr. Minho felt a chill run down his spine. Our ships took your people? Yes, Nari said. For study, like you took me? The implications of what she was saying began to sink in. Dr. Minho realized that humanity might have been the aggressors in this conflict, not the victims. Nari, Dr. Sora said gently, what happened to your pack? Nari's shoulders sagged. They were killed when your soldiers captured me. I was the only survivor. I am sorry, Dr. Minho said, and he meant it. I did not know. Your leaders know, Nari said. They order the attacks. They order the captures. They call us animals because it is easier than admitting they are wrong.
Doctor.
Minho sat down heavily in a nearby chair. Everything he had been told about the alien conflicts was apparently false. Humanity had been portrayed as the victims of aggressive alien species, but the truth seemed to be the opposite. How do we know you were telling the truth? Dr. Minho asked. Nari walked to the back of her cell and returned with something in her hands. It was a small device that had been hidden in her fur. This is a memory crystal, she said. It contains the history of my pack and the battles we fought. She placed the device against the wall. Your technology should be able to read it. You will see the truth. Dr. Sora took the device carefully. Why did you not show us this before? Because before you saw me as an animal, Nari said. Animals do not carry historical records. Dr. Minho stared at the small crystal in Dr. Sora's hands. If it contained what Nari claimed, it would change everything about humanity's relationship with alien species. There is more, Nari said. My people know I was captured. They will come for me. They will attack the station? Dr. Minho asked. They will rescue me, Nari corrected, unless you release me first. Dr. Minho felt the weight of an impossible decision settling on his shoulders. I cannot just release you. I have orders from Earth Command. What do your orders say about intelligent prisoners? Nari asked. Dr. Minho was quiet for a moment. Our protocols say that any intelligent alien life forms should be treated as potential allies, not enemies. Then you know what you must do, Nari said. Before Dr. Minho could respond, the station's communication system activated. Captain Hyok's voice echoed through the containment area. Dr. Minho, please report to the command center immediately. We have detected several alien ships approaching our position. Dr. Minho looked at Nari, who nodded grimly. My people have found me. How long do we have? Dr. Minho asked. Not long, Nari said. They are very good at tracking their own. Doctor. Minho stood up quickly. Dr. Sora, I need you to analyze that memory crystal immediately. Find out everything you can about the Veil 3 and their conflicts with humanity. What about Nari? Jaewon asked. Dr. Minho looked at the alien woman who had completely changed his understanding of their mission. I need to talk to Captain Hyok. We may be facing the most important decision in human history. Minho Nari called as he turned. To leave, my people are not monsters. They're parents and children and friends, just like you. They only want to bring me home. Dr. Minho paused at the door. And if we refuse, then they will take me by force, Nari said sadly. And many people will die on both sides. As Dr. Minho hurried toward the command center, his mind raced with possibilities. If Nari was telling the truth, then humanity had been fighting a war based on lies. But if she was lying, then releasing her could put the entire station at risk. Approaching alien ships would force them to make a choice very soon. Dr. Minho only hoped they would choose correctly in the containment area. Dr. Sora began connecting the memory crystal to their analysis equipment. Jaewon stood by Nari's cell, both of them watching the data transfer begin. "Are you afraid?" Jaewon asked. "Yes," Nari said honestly. "I am afraid your people will choose war over peace. I am afraid my people will lose patience and attack. Most of all, I am afraid that no one will listen to the truth." "We are listening now," Jaewon said. "I hope that is enough," Nari replied. Her amber eyes fixed on the ceiling as if she could see through it to the approaching ships. "I hope it is not too late." The memory crystal glowed as it began to share its secrets, and somewhere in the darkness of space, the Veil 3 fleet drew closer to a confrontation that would determine the future of two species. Captain Hyok stood in the command center, staring at the display screen that showed 3 alien ships approaching the station. They were unlike any vessels in the human database. Long and sleek, they moved through space with the grace of hunting. Wolves. Dr. Minho entered the command center, still trying to process everything he had learned from Nari. Behind him came Dr. Sora, carrying the analysis results from the memory crystal. Captain Dr. Minho said, "We need to talk." "Later, Doctor," Captain Hyok replied without taking his eyes off the screen. "Right now we have hostile alien ships closing on our position. I have already sent a distress signal to Earth Command." "They are not hostile," Dr. Minho said firmly. "They are here to rescue one of their people." Captain Hyok turned around, his expression puzzled. "What are you talking about?" "Specimen 47 is not a specimen," Dr. Minho explained. "She is an intelligent being named Nari. She belongs to a species called the Veil 3. And those ships are coming to take her home." "That is impossible," Captain Hyok said. "Our orders clearly state that all captured aliens are to be studied and classified." Dr. Sora stepped forward. "Captain, I have analyzed the memory crystal that Nari provided. The data shows detailed records of human attacks on Veil 3 settlements. We have been fighting a war based on false information." Captain Hyok looked between them. "You believe this alien over your own command structure?" "I believe the evidence," Dr. Minho said. "And right now, the evidence suggests that we have been holding a prisoner of war, not studying a wild animal." The communication console beeped. The alien ships were trying to establish contact. Captain Hyok hesitated, then activated the system. A new voice filled the command center. It was deep and strong, speaking accented but clear English. "Human station, this is Commander Kale of the Veil 3 fleet. We know you hold one of our people. Return her to us, and we will leave in peace." Captain Hyok picked up the microphone. "This is Captain Hyok of Research Station Gamma 7. We are a scientific facility operating under Earth authority. We do not care about your authority," Commander Kale replied. "Want our pack member returned immediately." "Pack member, Captain." Hyok looked confused. Dr. Minho took the microphone. "Commander Kale, this is Dr. Minho. I am the scientist responsible for Nara's care. She is safe and unharmed." There was a long pause. Then Commander Kale spoke again, his voice softer. "You know her name?" "Yes. We have been communicating with her. She has told us about the Veil 3 and about the conflicts with humanity." "Then you know why we are here," Commander Kale said. "Nari is precious to us. She's not just a warrior, but a keeper of our history and traditions." Down in the containment area, Jaewon was still talking with Nari. She had been listening to the communication between the ships through the station's intercom system. "That is Kale," Nari said, her eyes brightening with hope. "He was like a father. To me? Before I was captured?" "He sounds worried about you," Jaewon said. "The Veil 3 do not abandon their pack," Nari explained. "When one of us is taken, the others will do anything to bring them home, even fight a war," Jaewon asked. nodded sadly. Even that. But Kale is wise. We'll try to avoid bloodshed if possible. Jaewon had been thinking about something Nari had mentioned earlier. He talked about pack bonds. What does that mean exactly? Nari's expression grew thoughtful. Pack bonds are the connections between people who choose to trust each other completely. It is not just about family or species. It is about finding others who will stand with you no matter what happens. Like friendship? Jaewon asked. Deeper than friendship, Nari said. A pack bond means you are willing to risk everything for another person's safety and happiness. It means you see them as part of your own soul. Jaewon considered this. Can pack bonds form between different species? Yes, Nari said, looking directly at him. I believe they can. Back in the command center, the conversation with Commander Kale continued. Dr. Minho was explaining what they had learned about Nari and asking for more information about the Veil 3. Your people attacked our settlements first, Commander Kale said. You took our children for experiments. You destroyed our homes to steal our resources. We fought only to defend ourselves. Captain Hyok looked uncomfortable. Those are serious accusations. They are facts, Commander Kale replied. Nari carries the proof in her memory crystal. Dr. Sora confirmed with a nod. The data supports everything he is saying, Captain. What do you want from us, Captain? Hyok asked. Return Nari to us, Commander Kale said, and help us establish proper communication between our species. There has been enough fighting. I need to contact Earth Command, Captain Hyok said. Have 1 hour, Commander Kale replied. After that, we will come aboard your station to retrieve our pack member. The communication ended, leaving the command center in tense silence. Captain, Dr. Minho said, I think we should seriously consider their request. Our orders are clear, Captain Hyok replied. All alien specimens are to be held for study. But she is not a specimen, Dr. Minho insisted. She is a person, Dr. Sora added. The first contact protocols clearly state that intelligent alien life should be treated with respect and dignity. Captain Hyok was about to respond when Jaewon's voice came through the intercom from the containment area. Dr. Minho, you need to come down here. Nari wants to tell you something important. They hurried back to the containment level, where they found Nari waiting by the wall of her cell. She looked serious but determined. I have a proposal, Nari said when they arrived. Let me speak directly to your captain and to Kale at the same time. What do you want to tell them? Dr. Minho asked. The truth about pack bonds, Nari said, and about why humans and Veil 3 are more alike than either species realizes. Captain Hyok arrived a few minutes later. They established a three-way communication link between the command center, the Veil 3 ships, and the containment area. Kale, Nari said, her voice filled with emotion. I am alive and well, Nari. Commander Kale's voice was warm with relief. We have searched for you across many star systems. I know, Nari said, and I am grateful. But I have learned something important during my time here. She looked at the humans around her. Not all. Humans are our enemies. Some of them have shown me kindness and respect. Some of them have formed pack bonds with me. Pack bonds. Commander Kale sounded surprised. With humans? Yes, Nari said, looking at Jaewon. Humans form emotional connections just like we do. They care for their friends and family. They are willing to sacrifice for others. They are capable of changing their minds when they learn new information. Captain Hyok listened with growing understanding. You are saying our species are similar? Very similar, Nari confirmed. Both humans and Veil 3 are social creatures. We both value loyalty and courage. We both love our children and mourn our dead. Then why have we been fighting? Commander Kale asked. Because of fear and misunderstanding, Nari said. Your leaders and our leaders made decisions based on incomplete information. But ordinary people, when they meet and talk, can see past those differences. Dr. Minho spoke up. Nari, are you saying that peace is possible between our species? More than possible, Nari said. It is necessary. We are too much alike to be enemies. Jaewon stepped closer to the cell wall. What would it take to make peace? Nari smiled at him. It would take brave people on both sides willing to extend pack bonds across species lines. It would take leaders who choose understanding over fear. She looked around at all of them. It would take people like you. Weight of her words settled over everyone present. They were being asked to make a choice that could change the future of two entire species. 1 hour, Commander Kale reminded them. We await your decision. As the communication ended, Captain Hayok turned to his team. Well, he said quietly, what do we do now? Captain Hayok stood in his private office, staring at the communication device that would connect him to Earth Command. His finger hovered over the activation button, but he could not bring himself to press it. 30 minutes had passed since their conversation with Commander Kale and Nari. The alien ships waited patiently in space, but their time was running out. A soft knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. Dr. Minho entered, followed by Dr. Sora and Jaewon. Captain, Dr. Minho said, we need to talk about our options. Our options are limited, Captain Hayok replied. I have orders to hold all alien specimens until Earth Command decides what to do with them. But those orders were written when we thought we were dealing with animals, Dr. Sora said. Everything has changed now. Captain Hayok turned to face them. Has it? How do we know this is not some elaborate trick? Maybe the aliens trained one of their own to act intelligent and gain our sympathy. You heard her speak, Jaewon said quietly. You saw the memory crystal data. Nari is not acting. She is real. Even if she is intelligent, Captain Hayok said, releasing her could be seen as treason. Earth Command expects us to follow orders. Dr. Minho sat down across from the captain. What if Earth Command is wrong? No. Then we will face the consequences of our decision, Captain Hayok said. That is a risk I am not sure I can take. What about the risk of starting a war? Dr. Sora asked. If we refuse to return Nari, the Veil 3 will attack. People will die. Captain Hayok was quiet for a long moment. You really believe she is telling the truth about everything? Yes, all three of them said at the same time. And you believe peace is possible between our species. I think it is worth trying, Dr. Minho said. The alternative is continued fighting and death. Before Captain Hayok could respond, his communication device activated on its own. The face of Admiral Chen appeared on the screen, his expression stern and unforgiving. Captain Hayok, Admiral Chen said, we received your distress signal. What is your status? Captain Hayok straightened in his chair. Admiral, we have made contact with an alien species called the Veil 3. They are requesting the return of one of their people. Absolutely not, Admiral Chen said immediately. That specimen is valuable research material. You will hold your position until our battle fleet arrives. Admiral Captain Hayok said carefully. The alien is intelligent. She can speak our language and has provided evidence that we may have been the aggressors in this conflict. Possible, Admiral Chen replied. Our intelligence clearly shows that alien species are hostile to humanity. This is obviously some kind of trick. Dr. Minho leaned forward. Admiral, we have analyzed data provided by the alien, which shows detailed records of human attacks on peaceful settlements. Dr. Minho, Admiral Chen said coldly, you are a scientist, not a military strategist. You do not understand the complexities of interstellar warfare. I understand evidence, Dr. Minho replied. That the evidence suggests we have been fighting the wrong war. Admiral Chen's face grew red with anger. Captain Hayok, you will ignore these foolish theories and follow your orders. The specimen will be held until our arrival. Anyone who interferes will be charged with treason. The communication ended abruptly, leaving the office in silence.
I will.
Captain Hayok said quietly, now we know where Earth Command stands. What are you going to do? Jaewon asked. Captain Hayok looked at each of them. I have been a soldier for 20 years. I have always followed orders without question. But this time, I think my orders are wrong. Dr. Sora's eyes widened. You are going to release Nari? I am going to do what I think is right, Captain Hayok said, even if it costs me my career. They hurried back to the containment area, where Nari was waiting anxiously. She could sense the tension in their movements. Did your leaders say? Nari asked. They ordered us to keep you here, Captain, Hayok said. They are sending a battle fleet to fight your people. Nari's face fell. Then there will be war. Not if we can help it, Captain Hayok said. He walked to the control panel for Nari's cell. I am going to release you. Captain, Dr. Minho said. Are you sure about this? No, Captain Hayok admitted. But I'm sure that keeping her prisoner is wrong. He entered his authorization code into the control panel. The locks on Nari's cell disengaged with a soft click. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Nari slowly pushed open the door of her cell and stepped into the corridor. It was the first time she had been free since her capture. Thank you, she said simply. Do not thank me yet, Captain Hayok said. We still need to get you back to your ship safely. Captain Jaewon said, I want to go with her. Everyone turned to stare at him. What? Dr. Minho asked. Someone needs to speak for humanity when she returns to her people, Jaewon explained. Someone needs to show them that we can be trusted. Nari looked at him with surprise and gratitude. You would do that? Leave your own people to come with me? Said pack bonds can form between different species, Jaewon said. Maybe it is time to prove that. Captain Hayok activated the station's communication system. Commander Kale, this is Captain Hayok. We are returning Nari to you. We are also sending one of our people as a gesture of good faith. This is unexpected, Commander Kale replied. Why have you changed your decision? Because it is the right thing to do, Captain? Hayok said. There was a pause. Then Commander Kale spoke again. We will prepare to receive them. But be warned, Captain. If this is a trick, there will be consequences. It is not a trick, Nari said, speaking into the communicator. These humans have chosen to trust us. We should do the same. As they prepared for the transfer, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Dr. Sora checked the sensors and turned pale. Captain, she said, Earth Command's battle fleet has arrived. 12 ships, all armed for combat. Through the viewports, they could see the human fleet taking positions around the station. The Veil 3 ships responded by moving into defensive formations. They are going to fight, Nari said sadly. Captain Hayok made a decision that would change his life forever. He activated the general communication system, broadcasting to both fleets. This is Captain Hayok of Research Station Gamma 7. I am ordering both fleets to stand down. You're in the process of peaceful negotiations between our species. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the radio. Captain Hayok, you are relieved of command. Surrender the alien specimen immediately. No, Captain Hayok said firmly. I will not be responsible for starting a war based on lies and misunderstanding. On the other channel, Commander Kale spoke. Captain Hayok, your courage honors you. We will not fire unless fired upon. The two fleets faced each other in the darkness of space, weapons charged and ready. The fate of two species hung in the balance, depending on the choices made by a few brave individuals who dared to choose peace over war. Nari, Captain Hayok said, you and Jaewon need to reach your ship quickly. Maybe you can convince both sides to listen to reason. Nari nodded. We will try. As they prepared to leave the station, Nari turned back to the humans who had become her friends. Thank you for seeing me as a person instead of a monster, she said. I will never forget your kindness. Just help us make peace, Dr. Minho said. That will be thanks enough. The small shuttle launched from the station, carrying Nari and Jaewon toward an uncertain future. Behind them, two fleets waited for a sign that would determine whether this day would end in understanding or in war. The small shuttle moved slowly through space between the two fleets. Jaewon sat in the passenger seat, watching the Veil 3 ships grow larger through the viewport. Each vessel was beautiful in its own way, with curved lines that reminded him of flowing water. Nerb piloted the shuttle with steady hands, but he could see the tension in her shoulders. Are you nervous? He asked. Yes, Nari admitted. It has been many months since I saw my people. I am bringing a human with me. Some of them may not understand. Will they hurt me? Jaewon asked. Nari looked at him seriously. Not while I am alive. Pack bonds are sacred to the Veil 3. If I say you are part of my pack, they will respect that. They docked with the largest Veil 3 ship, and the airlock opened with a soft hiss. Jaewon's first breath of Veil 3 air was different from what he expected. It smelled like pine forests and clean rain. Commander Kale was waiting for them in the docking bay. He was taller than Nari, with dark fur marked by silver streaks that showed his age. His amber eyes were kind but alert. "Nari," he said, opening his arms wide. She ran to him, and they embraced like father and daughter. Jaewon watched as tears ran down both their faces. He realized he was witnessing something very private and special. "I thought we had lost you forever," Commander Kale said softly. "You almost did," Nari replied. "But some humans chose to help me instead of keeping me prisoner." Commander Kale looked over Nari's shoulder at Jaewon. "This is one of them," says Jaewon, Nari said, turning to include him in their conversation. "He was the first human to speak my name. He has become part of my pack." Commander Kale studied Jaewon carefully. A human in a Veil 3 pack. That is something I never expected to see. "Many things are changing," Jaewon said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Our species have more in common than we realized." "So Nari has told me," Commander Kale said. "But words are easy. Actions show the truth of a person's heart." Over the communication system, Admiral Chen's voice could be heard demanding that the Veil 3 surrender immediately. His tone was angry and threatening. "Your admiral does not sound like someone who wants peace," Commander Kale observed. "Not all humans think the same way," Jaewon said. "Just like I'm sure not all Veil 3 think the same way." Commander Kale smiled slightly. "You are wise for someone so young." They made their way to the ship's bridge, where other Veil 3 officers were monitoring the human fleet. Jaewon noticed that they all looked at him with curiosity, but none of them seemed hostile. "The human ships are taking attack positions," one of the officers reported. "Hold our position," Commander Kale ordered. "We will not fire first." Nari stepped forward. "Kale, let me talk to both fleets. Maybe I can make them understand." "It is too dangerous," Commander Kale said. "If the humans attack while you are speaking, you could be killed." "If we do nothing, many people will die on both sides," Nari replied. "I have to try." Commander Kale looked at Jaewon. "What do you think, human? Should we trust your people not to attack during negotiations?" Jaewon thought about Captain Hyok and Dr. Minho and Dr. Sora. "Some of them can be trusted completely. Others, ... He shook his head. "I do not know." "An honest answer," Commander Kale said. "It's very well, Nari. You may speak to both fleets." Communication channel opened, and Nara's voice was broadcast to every ship in both fleets. "My name is Neri of the Veil 3, she began. "For many months, I have been a prisoner on the human research station. I was treated badly at first because the humans did not understand that I was intelligent." Admiral Chen's voice interrupted. "This is propaganda. Do not listen to the aliens' lies." "But some humans chose to listen to me," Nari continued, ignoring the interruption. "They learned my name. They learned my language. Discovered that Veil 3 and humans are very much alike." On the research station, Captain Hyok and his team listened with growing hope. Dr. Sora was recording everything for future analysis. "Of our species form strong bonds with family and friends," Nari said. "Both of our species are willing to fight to protect the people we love. Both of our species can learn and grow and change." Lies, Admiral Chen broadcast again. "All aliens are hostile to humanity." "Admiral," Captain Hyok's voice cut through the transmission. "I have seen the evidence. The Veil 3 are not our enemies." "Captain Hyok, you are under arrest for treason." Admiral Chen replied. Commander Kale spoke for the first time. "Admiral Chen, Captain Hyok, has shown great courage in choosing truth over fear. Perhaps you should listen to him." "I do not negotiate with aliens," Admiral Chen said. Jaewon asked for permission to speak, and Commander Kale nodded. "Admiral Chen, this is Engineer Jaewon from the research station. I am currently aboard a Veil 3 ship as a guest, not a prisoner." There was shocked silence from the human fleet. No human had ever voluntarily boarded an alien vessel before. "They have treated me with respect and kindness," Jaewon continued. "They are not the monsters we were told they were." "You have been brainwashed," Admiral Chen said. "No," Jaewon replied. "I have been educated," Nari spoke again. "I propose a test. Let small groups from both fleets meet face to face. I'll let them talk and learn about each other. If, after meeting us, your people still believe we are monsters, then we will leave and never return. And if they decide we can be trusted," Commander Kale added, "they'll work together to build peace between our species," Nari said. For several long minutes, there was silence. Both fleets waited to see what Admiral Chen would decide. Finally, his voice came through the communication system. You have 1 hour, small delegations only. Any sign of treachery, and we will open fire. Commander Kale looked pleased. We accept these terms. Over the next hour, shuttles moved between the ships. Small groups of humans in Vale 3 met in the docking bays of the research station. Dr. Minho and Dr. Sora served as translators, helping both species communicate. At first, there was tension and fear on both sides. But as they began to talk, amazing things happened. A human engineer discovered that Vale 3 technology could solve problems that had puzzled humanity for years. Vale 3 scientists learned that humans had developed medical treatments that could help sick Vale 3 children. Most importantly, they began to see each other as individuals rather than as enemies. When the hour was over, the delegations returned to their ships. Admiral Chen demanded reports from his officers. Sir, one of them said hesitantly, the aliens. The VAELTHRI ... They are not what we expected. They're intelligent and peaceful, another added. They have families and hopes and dreams, just like us. Admiral Chen was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke to Commander Kale directly. Commander, I owe you an apology. It appears that my information about your species was incorrect. Apology accepted, Admiral, Commander Kale replied. We have all made mistakes based on fear and misunderstanding. 6 months later, Research Station Gamma 7 had been transformed into the first joint human Vale 3 diplomatic outpost. Scientists from both species worked together, sharing knowledge and technology. Nari had chosen to stay on the station as the chief Vale 3 ambassador. Jaewon worked beside her, helping to translate not just languages, but cultures and ideas. Dr. Minho had been promoted to head of interspecies relations. Dr. Sora was leading a team to establish communication protocols with other alien species. Captain Hyok, instead of being court-martialed, had been given a medal for his courage in choosing peace over war. One evening, Nari and Jaewon stood in the observation deck, watching Vale 3 and human ships working together to build a new communication. Relay, do you ever regret coming with me? Nari asked. Never, Jaewon said. This is the most important work I have ever done, Nari smiled. Pack bonds are strong things. Once formed, they last forever. Is that what we have? A pack bond? That is what we all have now, Nari said, gesturing toward the mixed crews working. Outside, humans and Vale 3, working together as one pack. As they watched, a new ship appeared on the horizon. It belonged to another alien species that had heard about the peace between humans and Vale 3. They wanted to learn if they could join this growing alliance. More friends coming to visit, Jaewon observed. The pack grows larger, Nari agreed. And that is exactly as it should be. In the distance, Earth was sending its first official diplomatic mission to establish formal relations with the Vale 3. The age of fear and misunderstanding was ending. The age of cooperation and friendship was just beginning. All because one human had been brave enough to whisper an alien's name. One alien had been brave enough to trust that humans could be more than their fears.